At 78 years old, Rob Reiner has lived a life filled with fame, creativity, and countless achievements. But recently, he opened up with a heartfelt confession about one man who left an unforgettable mark on both his career and his life. Carroll O'Connor. For years, people speculated about their relationship during All in the Family. Were they really at odds, just like their characters, or was there more to the story? Now Reiner is telling the truth, and it reveals not only his admiration for O'Connor, but also how the legendary actor helped shape him as an artist and a person. Rob Reiner was born Robert Reiner on March 6, 1947 in the Bronx, New York. Creativity ran in his veins from the very beginning. His father, Carl Reiner, was already a giant in the comedy world, writing and performing on Your Show of Shows and later creating the Dick Van DJ show for young Rob. Storytelling wasn't just entertainment, it was the family business. Watching his father taught him the art of timing, wit, and character. But Rob was determined to carve his own path. He didn't just want to be Carl Reiner's son, he wanted to stand on his own as both an actor and a filmmaker. The role that changed everything in the early 1970s. Rob Reiner's big break arrived when he was cast as Michael Meathead, the liberal son-in-law constantly clashing with Archie Bunker, played by Carroll O'Connor in All in the Family. The show was groundbreaking. It wasn't just a sitcom, it was a mirror held up to American society. Race, politics, war, sexism, and generational conflict were all tackled, but through comedy that made people laugh while also making them think. Reiner's performance earned him respect and recognition, but it was working alongside Carroll O'Connor that left the deepest impression. For years, fans assumed that Reiner and O'Connor had a tense relationship off-screen, just like their characters on. After all, Archie Bunker was loud, conservative, and stubborn, while Michael Meathead was outspoken, young, and liberal. But Reiner has finally set the record straight. "We didn't fight off camera," he explained. "We didn't hate each other, quite the opposite. We had enormous affection for each other. Carroll was like a mentor to me. I learned so much from just watching him work." Reiner described O'Connor as one of the most brilliant actors he had ever known. Archie Bunker could have easily turned into a one-dimensional caricature. Instead, O'Connor gave him humanity. "You hated Archie, but at the same time, you understood him," Reiner said. That was Carroll's genius. Reiner admitted that acting alongside O'Connor was intimidating. "Every time I went into a scene with Carroll, I had to be at the top of my game. He pushed me to be better without ever saying a word. Just by setting the bar so high, he forced me to rise up. And that high bar didn't just elevate All in the Family. It pushed Reiner to develop the discipline and skill that would later serve him as a filmmaker." The show itself dealt with issues that divided America: racism, sexism, politics, the Vietnam War. No subject was off limits, but Reiner credited O'Connor with being fearless. Carroll knew Archie was going to push people's buttons, and he embraced that, Reiner recalled. "He once told me, if people aren't uncomfortable, then we're not doing our job." That line stuck with me my entire career. It's a philosophy Reiner carried into his own directing career with films like Stand By Me and A Few Good Men. His work often challenges audiences, just as All in the Family did. While Archie Bunker was abrasive and often offensive, Carroll O'Connor himself was nothing like the character. Reiner described him as thoughtful, gentle, and intellectual. "People would be shocked," he said. Carroll hated bigotry. He hated everything Archie stood for. But he played the role with such honesty that some people confused the man with the character. Carroll never did. He knew exactly who he was. Away from the cameras, O'Connor loved books, quiet conversation, and kindness. He wasn't just a colleague to Reiner. He became a friend. Even after All in the Family ended, the bond between Reiner and O'Connor remained strong. The lessons Reiner learned about courage, honesty, and performance, and using humor to challenge society stayed with him throughout his career. "He showed me that you could use comedy to open people's minds," Reiner said. "He taught me that an actor's job is to make people feel, even if it makes them uncomfortable." When Carroll O'Connor passed away in 2001, Reiner felt the loss deeply. But even decades later, at 78, his voice still carries reverence when speaking about the man who played Archie Bunker. "I loved him," Reiner said simply. "He wasn't just he was my teacher, my friend, and one of the greats." Rob Reiner went on to become one of Hollywood's most respected directors, creating classics like This Is Spinal Tap, 1984, The Princess Bride, 1987, When Harry Met Sally, 1989, and A Few Good Men, 1992. But even with all those achievements, he often circles back to his years on All in the Family, and to Carroll O'Connor, that confession, "He was the only one who could do that to me," isn't just about acting. It's about influence. It's about the rare kind of person who can shape another's path in ways that last a lifetime. For Reiner, Carroll O'Connor was that person. A man who showed him that art should challenge as much as it entertains. A man who treated him not as a rival, but as a partner. A man whose kindness and brilliance left a mark far deeper than the character he played. At 78, Rob Reiner isn't just paying tribute. He's reminding us of something bigger. Behind every legendary performance is a human being, and sometimes the greatest gift is not the role you play, but the life lessons you leave behind.